Cansado de transportar um sem fim de cartões para todo o lado, da Suécia chega o exemplo. Cada vez mais pessoas aderem à moda do implante de um microchip do tamanho de um grão de arroz sob a pele. Graças à tecnologia Near Field Communication, usada em cartões de crédito, procuram ter a vida facilitada acenando continuamente para sensores. Com um simples gesto, entram em ginásios, fazem pagamentos ou tiram fotocópias. Trago-o sempre comigo e é muito bom, nunca o perco. Posso sempre entrar no meu local de trabalho, mesmo tendo esquecido o cartão-chave em casa.
Moving on to our top international story this hour, we are following some disturbing news out of the tech world, as this week the Confederation of British Industry, or CBI, issued a warning about the future of microchips in the workplace.
Até para aceder às redes sociais é possível recorrer ao microchip, mas nem todos se deixam convencer pela tecnologia invasiva. É tudo uma questão de perspectiva e de tempo até que a moda pegue.
This is happening here. I don't want to get biblical, but you know, I've heard about this mark of the beast business my whole life. I think it's true. I think biblical prophecy. The more I'm hearing about this, everything we do. Steve, right now, in your wallet, you have RFID chips, your driver's license, your license tag, your passport. We can talk about this, but this isn't coming. It's already here. Right.
According to state media, schools in southern China are forcing school children to wear uniforms with tracking chips that trigger an alarm if they skip class or, goodness, fall asleep. On top of that, facial recognition scanners can match the chips with the correct students if they try to swap jackets. The company that makes the chip says it's part of the Chinese Communist Party effort to create smart campuses across the country.
El futuro ya está aquí. Miles de personas por todo el mundo comienzan a implantarse microchips bajo la piel. Los dispositivos electrónicos contienen información sobre tarjetas de banco, carnets de identidad, incluso boletos para el transporte.
Este microchip que iría implantado, es decir, integrado en tu cuerpo debajo de la piel, normalmente se pone por esta zona, es una cápsula de vidrio que vendría más o menos a ocupar pues algo como esto, incluso muchísimo menos.
Na China, o reconhecimento facial não é mais coisa de ficção científica. Algumas empresas, como a SenseTime, oferecem equipamentos para monitorar compradores, detectar idade, gênero e tipo de roupa. Em Xangai e em outras grandes cidades do país, a tecnologia também é comum para localizar pedestres que infringem as leis de circulação.
This is the next groundbreaking development in data-driven technology: facial recognition. And in China, you can already withdraw cash, check in at airports, and pay for goods using just your face. The country is the world's leader in the use of this emerging technology. And China's many artificial intelligence startups are determined to keep it that way in the future.
In China, Big Brother is meeting Big Data. Advanced surveillance technology set up to watch everyone's every move. What people say, do, and even think is monitored and marked, ranking people as good citizens or bad, to be rewarded or punished.
Every citizen, seriously, every citizen will be tracked.
I know this.
And they're going to be given a score. They're going to be given a behavioral score, and if the score is good, if you act good, you get perks, like better transit, better transportation, better hospital, a gym membership. If you're bad, you get put on a blacklist and you suffer problems with travel and other issues.
Steve,
I mean, that's as Orwellian as it gets.
China is positioning itself to lead the world in artificial intelligence. Surveillance technology is a key proving ground. Facial recognition, body scanning, and geo-tracking, matched with your personal data and online behaviour, will power the social credit system, leaving no dark corner to hide in. Fan Dandan is going places. Very much the modern Chinese woman. She's a marketing professional, diligent and prosperous, and sees clear skies in her digital future.
那么其实政府已经掌握了我们很多资料，然后政府方也掌握了一些我们个人信用，就比如说是否遵纪守法啊，以及我们的教育程度。那我觉得如果把所有的大数据，那对我们来讲其实是更高效的。
A model citizen, Dandan will rate highly on social credit. That her every action will be tracked and judged is fine by her.
其实是，但我觉得哪儿的人可能都希望有一个非常稳定的一个和谐的一个社会。那如果真的像国家现在在努力去做的这个事情，每个角落都有这个，就是每个公共区域的拐角都有这个摄像头的话，其实我觉得我会觉得更安全一些。
Dandan's criminal, academic and medical records will feed into her score, as well as state security assessments. Her shopping habits will be another measure. Her score could even change in real time, depending on what she puts in her trolley. Buy a lot of alcohol suggests dependence. Lose a couple of points. Buy a pack of nappies, gain a few, suggests responsibility.
But the Chinese government has plans to use this new biometric technology to cement its authoritarian rule. The country has ambitious plans to develop a vast national surveillance system based on facial recognition. It'll be used to monitor its 1.4 billion citizens in unprecedented ways, with the capability of tracking everything from their emotions to their sexuality. The primary means will be a vast network of CCTV cameras. 170 million are already in place, and an estimated 400 million new ones will be installed over the next 3 years. The authorities insist this program will allow them to improve security for citizens. And if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. But not everyone is convinced. Already the authorities are using facial recognition to name and shame citizens, even for minor offences like jaywalking. In Beijing, they're using the technology to prevent people stealing rolls of loo paper from public toilets. And across China, police officers are now trialling sunglasses and body cameras loaded with facial and gesture recognition technology. It's helping them to identify wanted suspects in real time. What worries some people here is that as the technology develops, so too does the capacity for it to be abused.
There are going to be new algorithms seriously that are going to base your credit worthiness not so much on your payment history and all of the usual factors, but who your friends are, how long you are online. This is not the future. We live in a 24/7 real-time panopticon. We are watched every step of the way. And what scares me even more is not that we're talking about this, but that the newer generations who were born in captivity don't have any appreciation for this thing that you called Orwellian, this dystopian horror story that's been written.
And that's great.
Now.
That is a great, seriously, all kidding aside, born into captivity or born in captivity, that is a great way to put it.
This is maybe the most important thing to know about living right now in the 21st century, that we are now hackable animals. We have the technology to decipher how humans, or what you think, what you want, to predict human choices, to manipulate human desires in ways which were never possible before.
All right, George, how difficult is it really to remember banking information? I mean, do you think average people really want these chips?
Well, I'm sure not. I mean, beasts are branded and slaves are enchained. This is, I suppose, the next stage. The wage slave will be microchipped. And the employer, imagine Amazon, just for an example, other brands are available, employing 500,000 people, every one of them one day perhaps microchipped. So the company will not be able just to employ you at rock bottom rates. It will know how long you went to the toilet for electronically. I might even know what you did there. It is grotesque, it is obscene, it's already happening. And even here in Britain, it's happening. It's happening in the United States. It's happening in the tech industries already. And of course, it's all very well saying it's voluntary, but when you're a wage slave, voluntary doesn't mean much. If it's get this job and sign up for the chip, or don't get the job, well, people will take the chip.
Basically, to hack a human being, you need two things. You need a lot of data, especially biometric data, not just about where you go and what you buy, but what is happening inside your body and inside your brain. And secondly, you need a lot of computing power to make sense of all that data. Now, previously in history, this was never possible. Nobody had enough data and enough computing power to hack human beings. Even if the KGB or the Gestapo followed you around 24 hours a day, eavesdropping on every conversation you had, watching everybody you meet. Still, they did not have the biological knowledge to really understand what's happening inside you, and they certainly didn't have the computing power necessary to make sense even of the data they were able to collect. So the KGB could not really understand you, could not really predict all your choices or manipulate all your desires and so forth. But now it's changing. What the KGB couldn't do, corporations and governments today are beginning to be able to do. And this is because of the merger of the revolution in biotech. We are getting better in understanding what's happening inside us, in the body, in the brain. And at the same time, the revolution in infotech, which gives us the computing power necessary. When you put the two together, when infotech merges with biotech, what you get is the ability to create algorithms that understand me better than I understand myself. And then these algorithms can not just predict my choices, but also manipulate my desires and basically sell me anything, whether it's a product or a politician. One of the things many people don't realize about the AI revolution and the automation revolution, they imagine it as some kind of one-time event. We have the big AI revolution in 2025. You have all these truck drivers and taxi drivers and doctors and whatever losing their jobs. You have a few difficult years of adjustment, and then eventually you have the new, brave new world of AI with a new equilibrium. And this is an extremely unlikely scenario, because we are nowhere near the maximum potential of AI. The speed in which it develops is only likely to accelerate. So what we are really going to face is a cascade of ever bigger revolutions in the job market and in many other areas of life, relationships, politics, and so forth. So you have a big disruption in 2025, you have an even bigger disruption in 2035, an even bigger one in 2045, and so forth. And if you look, say, at the job market, so okay, you were a truck driver and they no longer need you, but there is new demand for yoga teachers. So you somehow reinvent yourself at age 40. I'm no longer a truck driver, now I'm a yoga teacher. It's very difficult, you somehow do it. 10 years later, no need of yoga teachers, thank you very much. We now have these amazing applications connected with biometric sensors to your body. They know exactly what you're doing with every tiny muscle. As you do this posture or that posture, no human yoga teacher can compete with that. You're out of job. You have to reinvent yourself again as a designer of virtual world games. And you do it somehow. But 10 years later, you have to do it again because this too has now been automated. And even if you get support from the government and there is all these education for adult system, the really big question is, again, it's psychological. Do we as human beings have the mental stability and the emotional intelligence necessary to reinvent ourselves repeatedly? And, you know, when you're 20, what you're doing is basically to reinvent yourself or to invent yourself for the first time. And it is very difficult. When you're 30, it's even more difficult, but you somehow do it. But when you get to be 40, 50, 60, it becomes more and more difficult. You have more to let go of. I've invested so much in building this career, this personality, these skills. To give it all up and start again from anew, it's so difficult. So I don't know whether we can do it.